Good morning, friends. Good morning, all. Happy Saturday. It is a bit of a busy Saturday for us. We do have a volleyball tournament and a soccer tournament and family gatherings. And of course, it's Mother's Day weekend. So lots going on this weekend, busy weekend. But thankfully, we've got a late start to our Saturday, which allows us to get together with you all and talk a little Guardians of the Galaxy at some point here when the girls decide to join. They're awake, they're working their way in, but we definitely want to talk Guardians Volume 3 at some point, and I'll put up a spoiler banner in case anybody wants to bow out and dodge that bit. I got some goodies, some things I've purchased, some things I've been reading. I got an A-OK over here that I'm going to be opening up in a little bit, and I got some fun links in the description for this video. Specifically, I'll start by mentioning Bigby McFly, the comic guy, a friend from the channel from way back, and he's got his own channel. I think he's over 800 subscribers now, and he's promoting an idea of a community shout out program where you can shout out channels that you support, channels you really like, shows that you're really enjoying, just ways to highlight one another, kind of like my buddy Rod the Rican used to do every Sunday. Same kind of thing, and we can all participate. But I put his link down below. If you're not aware of Bigby McFly, it might be a channel that you want to check out, and a concept that you might be interested in if you have a channel where you're making shorts and little videos that you can highlight one another. Let's say hello to the friends we got in our chat. First up, we have Kevin, my SoCal homie, Entropy in Comics. What's going on, Kevin? I hope your Saturday is doing well. I got Terry, the Bronze Page. Good morning. This Saturday, I hope it's going well for you, Terry. I got JP in the chat. Good morning to you, JP. Should be having D&D over on his channel tomorrow evening after I make dinner for my wife for Mother's Day. Although, yeah, my mom, support, work together. What's up, Dale? Good morning, Dale. He says he's watching Guardians Volume 3 later today, so I won't spoil any of it for you. When the girls come in, they're slowly waking. They're awake, and their bagels are here. They'll make their way in. When we talk Guardians, I'll put the banner up. But suffice to say, Dale, the word that I keep using when I'm talking about the movie is just, I felt like it was worthy, right? I felt like it was just worthy of the other two movies, of those characters, of the trilogy. It felt like a worthy addition. So that's the word I've been using. I also have some original art behind me because I made a new purchase. I will share the page here. This is from Poison Ivy. This is Marcio Takara, the artist who's been doing pretty much all of the Poison Ivy series. This is from issue 5. Got a little Batman in there. And of course, the Floronic Man, the villain for a lot of this series. And then, of course, there's Pam as well. So this is a page of original art that I got recently. Gently put it back up there. Oh, will it balance now? Oh, now it doesn't want to. Now it doesn't want to sit. All right. I'll be careful. And then, of course, the other one I got is from Nightwing from a while back, from Bruno Redondo. So those were some purchases recently. Sometimes I buy the digital artists make mono prints, but Marcio Takara, this is actual pen and pencil on paper. So, different artists create different media for their artwork. So what is going on this morning, everybody? I hope things are going well. I was just watching Spec Media last night. This is Rich, man. The Dollar Bin Fodder, my homie from SoCal, and he was doing a show just last night, and I was hanging out in his chat for most of it. Absolutely my pleasure, sir. Absolutely. And if you guys aren't following, you just click his name or type it into the search bar. Another great YouTube channel you can follow. Great information. He was talking about some of the upcoming Superman and Supergirl and crypto-related spec based on what James Gunn seems to be doing with the future of DC. So good stuff going on over there. Good knowledge that he was sharing. What is up, Robert G? Good morning to you. Happy Saturday. So the other link in the description down below relates to this AOK that I got from Ken Pratt, the Dio Wolf, and I linked his Instagram down below. He's a community member that I've known for quite a while. He jumps in, comments on things, jumps into. I see him in chats all the time. So he said, "Hey, I want to send you something. Is it cool?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. Thanks for thinking of us." So it's right here, and all I did was I cut the tape and moved some things in, so then I could get things out. Okay. So this is from Ken, and I'm gonna open this here while the girls are slowly waking up. Sorry for the bubble wrap noise. Here we go. He says, to celebrate the 12th of November and the 28th of December. Okay, there's a hint there that I'm not quite grasping. The 12th of November and the 28th of December. Hinting at something there. Uses the blue painter's tape. I love the blue painter's tape. I'm a big fan. Much appreciated, Ken. Oh, I got one. Two more here. Sorry. Let's see. Oop. Oh, sweet. Sorry, I saw one of them while I was getting the tape off here. I was trying to be a good boy and not peek, but this one popped out. X-Men. This is the Grand Design series. Really great read. Really great way to look at it. He says this is for John Lasso. But look at that Stan Lee cover. See, we got the OG Iceman there that looks like the snowman. I love it. That is cool. It's a Stan Lee box exclusive. That is cool. Yeah, Ed Piskor did these, and they're really great. If you haven't read them, they even come in, I think, a large format trade. You can read the Grand Design series, where they basically go through kind of like Spider-Man Life Story and retell key moments from the X-Men. Really a great read. But that's a fun variant. All right. Next up, we got it's more Stan Lee goodness. Look at this. Riri Williams, Iron Man, and Stan Lee in the suit there. That's hilarious. Oh, that's great. I don't recognize the artist, but that's so funny. I love that stuff. I was just rewatching the first two Guardians movies. After seeing 3, I wanted to go back and watch them all. God, I miss his cameos, man. I really do feel like there was something added to the Marvel Universe when he would just pop in, when Stan would just jump in. And I really want them to go and try to pick somebody they can do that with. You know, pick an artist or a writer or somebody who has a legacy with the Marvel Universe that's still kicking, you know, that has some of that juice still in them, and bring them in. I think it would be fun. It doesn't even have to be the same person every time. I feel like you could spread that wealth. I think those cameos add something. I know there's nobody on the same level as Stan, but there's still a ton of great guys out there. You know, Jim Shooter. You could bring Jim Shooter in, I think, and it wouldn't have to stop the whole movie down. But it just, I don't know. I miss him. And then we got the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's Stan again, and he's got Groot on his shoulder and Star-Lord flying with him. He's like climbing up the mountain there. I love it. Oh my gosh. These are hilarious. That is so awesome, man. That is cool. Thanks, Ken. Much appreciated, sir. That's funny. Oh, I love it. I don't know which run of Guardians this is. I'm kind of tempted to peek at it. I haven't read a ton of Guardians runs, so I'm always like trying to remember who's who. So let's see. This is the Jerry Dugan run. So this must be issue 1, I'm assuming. No, 150. 150. I didn't even realize any Guardians runs got that high up there. Okay, that's fantastic. Gently putting them back. Sorry, anybody gets nervous about the books outside the bag, apologies. But huge thank you to Ken Pratt, the Dio Wolf. Hey, he's in the chat. He's in the chat right there. There he is. Boom. Thank you, Ken. These are hilarious, man. And it's funny because I was just talking about how, like, we're rewatching Guardians 1 and 2 and missing. It reminded me how I really miss seeing Stan Lee's cameos in those movies. So this hit that emotional box, that checks that emotional wanting Stan Lee and all the Marvel movies box, JP saying it was the legacy numbering. Oh, that makes sense. What is up? Ahoy to you, sir. Captain Comics is in the chat. Thank you, sir. I'm saving the blue tape because I don't waste blue tape around here. I don't waste that blue tape. All right. Get a drink of water here. All right. I got a stack of new books that I've been reading. So I'm going to go through some of the new books that I've been reading while the girls slowly wake up. Shout out to the fire guy, Ryan, who put me on to this indie series from Dark Wolf called Spy Superb. Now, this is issue number 2. I'm showing you issue number 2 because I got these fun variants for issues number 1 and 3 that look like paper bags. So this is the Costco variant for issue number 3, and this is the Trader Joe's variant for issue number 1. I think these covers are hilarious, and they're just like it's just like having a blank sketch cover, because there's another cover under that one. Ooh, gently get it out. Like you get another cover underneath, right? It's like 2 covers. Like when they have like a saucy cover and they cover that up so that people can't see it. But I think it's hilarious, the paper bag covers. So what is Spy Superb? Spy Superb is an offbeat dark comedy about a spy program where there is a super spy who nobody knows who they are, and they don't actually exist. It's just an illusion for your opponent. And you have Joe Schmo America, who is like not realizing that at any given moment might be the Spy Superb, and they might be doing one little drop or picking up an item or sending a message, and not realizing that in that moment they are pretending to be Spy Superb. It's just a big plot by the intelligence apparatus. But what happens when one of those Joe Schmoes gets targeted and has to actually become the Spy Superb? So it's a kind of comedy, a comedy of errors, fish out of water kind of thing. But espionage, kind of James Bond, like Joe Schmo James Bond kind of thing. I really enjoyed it. It's by Matt Kint and art by Charlene Kint. Oh, is that his wife or his daughter? I don't know. Anybody who knows, tell me. So the Kints, Matt and Charlene Kint, are the team on Spy Superb. It's a 3-issue series. It's all done. It's wrapped. These are the whole story. So you could probably get a trade here at some point if it hasn't dropped already. Or your shop might just have them. Your shop might have them. It's a 3-issue miniseries, and I enjoyed it. The Joe Schmo is likably, hilariously awful. He's like funny. Like it was very entertaining. So I liked Spy Superb. That was a fun series for sure. And Fire Guy Ryan, he's the one that was shouting out about this series. And I had to hunt down the issues because my shop didn't have issue 1. And so shout out to White Whale Comics, because when I was in Florida, he was like, oh, I got issue 1. And he hooked me up with the Costco or the Trader Joe's variant for issue 1. We got Chop in the chat. What's going on, Chop? Happy Saturday. Good to see you. Izzy Verse is in the chat. Good morning to you. I hope your Saturday's kicking off right. We're just talking about some indie comics. I got one more that I've read recently or been reading recently. So that was Spy Superb from Dark Horse. I got Monarch from Image. I'm a big Rodney Barnes fan. This is his new aliens, kind of alien abduction, alien invasion series. And I sort of jokingly said it reminded me a little of the TV show or the movie Attack the Block. It has like an inner city vibe to it, where this orphan kid living in foster care, going to a kind of really crummy school, struggling, comes to realize when the aliens attack that he might be closely related to those aliens. So some fun twists in the plot, some really cool art, and yeah, been really into it. I've been enjoying it. Oh, perfect timing. I want to shout out Paul from Sector 2815. I mean, he does great content on his channel, always makes me laugh. But more, Paul, I want to talk to you because there's a great new issue of Green Lantern on the shelves, folks. No, Charlie's here. Oh, and I forgot to grab that other chair. Would you grab the other chair? Can you fold it and bring it over? Forgot to grab a third chair because your sister will join us at some point. But yeah, great new issue of Green Lantern. I really enjoyed this. And not only that, it's one of the few times where I've read an issue that had a backup story and I actually liked it. I am still not won over. I'm still not a fan of backup stories in comics. I still think backup stories in comics are stupid and that we shouldn't have backup stories in comics. I don't understand it. It feels like I'm missing out on money. I bought a comic. I wanted to read Hal Jordan, and you're cramming in this other story that I didn't pay for and I don't want. And either you're adding pages and giving it to me for free, which you need to tell me if you're doing that, or you're robbing me of more story, and I get disappointed by that. So that's frustrating. So yeah, great art, great writers, lots of good stuff happening in this issue. I just wish they'd give me I want 2 Green Lantern books. That's what it is, Paul. That's what it amounts to. If they had a Hal Jordan book and a John Stewart book, I would buy both. Give me both. And charge me the $3.99 for each. I would buy both. But I guess maybe that's the problem is I'm in the minority on that one. What is up, Agu? Good to see you, Agu. Happy Saturday. And we got Charlie here now. So we got one of the kids. We're most of the way there. So like I was saying, been reading Monarch. Good series. That's the indies that I've been catching up on. Great first issue of Green Lantern. I was very entertained. I think it's great jumping on point for new people. So I know I'm down for all of it. And I love the Ivan Reis cover. I had to get that variant cover. It's a beauty. That leaves just 2 more books to go through. And first I got to say hi to Ryan, the Magic Lasso. He's doing the Kate and Charlie Show. The Kate and Charlie Show. Eat a bagel, pet a beagle, and watch the Kate and Charlie Show. We got Jedi Code. He says, now I want a bagel. I respect that. Gotta have. We did blueberry bagels for the girls today. That's what they wanted. Let's see here. Who else we got? Paul saying they're just sort of previewing it in the Hal Jordan. So there will be 2. Oh, now you're preaching to me, buddy. I'm excited. I'm excited to know that they might actually be doing 2. I thought it was just going to be 1 book that they split for the whole run. That was going to be frustrating. Carson is in the chat. What's up, Seawood? Charlie arrives and everybody wants to come in. I get it. What's up, Old Wolf? He says it's time for Saturday Morning Comics. A great candidate for the awards. So as much as I love what Brian is doing, and I'm a big fan, and I will happily shout out Brian all the time, I don't push for awards, and I won't promote, and I won't do. I have issues with awards for art, and it just kind of irks me. But like, I love that he's doing it. I love that we are celebrating channels that are putting in hard work. And I appreciate you, Tony, for saying that we are worthy of anything like that. That's very sweet of you to say. So I appreciate that, man. Later this year, that sounds like maybe I had to wait a long time. Buenos dias. Jedi Code says, gonna play some Tears of the Kingdom while listening. There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's why you have me. So there you go. Yeah, you can promote if you want to celebrate and promote, Tony. Then there you go. You go crazy. You get it. You go get it. What is up, aggressively relaxing? Good morning to you. So I'm on my last 2 new comic book day books that I want to review before we get the girls in here and talk Guardians, because Kate's, I think, going to be in here soon. Fingers crossed. I'll go with Daredevil first. This is the penultimate, I believe is the term, the second to last issue in the current run. Daredevil returning to New York after the disaster with the team of ninjas that he was training and all the things that went down. I thought this was a very good issue. I don't particularly like this 12-issue run in general. I think it's a little weaker than the earlier stuff, but it's still a solid Daredevil run. I mean, I respect that. So in general, this Daredevil series is wrapping up, and I'm kind of happy that it's going to end. I'm curious to see where they go from here, because they've definitely dug some deep holes for Matt Murdock, and I'm not sure how he'll ever get out of them. Very exciting stuff. It's the penultimate, so I think they're going to end on issue 12 in June, if I'm not mistaken. So this was not the total end. But I think Punisher ends next week or the week after, and then the month after it will be the Daredevil finale. And of course, my last book has Storm on the cover. It's X-Men Red issue 11, which is the return of X-Men Red after that last big Sins of Sinister event. Great issue. Lots of good story going on in this issue. Big things happening on Mars and with Storm and all of the different jobs that sort of everybody seems to be asking Storm to do stuff.
That's weird.
Yeah, she's the ruler on Mars and leading that whole government. She's also on the Quiet Council back on Earth and doesn't have much time for herself, even though she's on a date. She's got a date at the beginning. This guy is sitting there waiting. Oh, the date is coming. And then, of course, Storm makes a typical Storm-like entrance, flying in, and her outfit seems to be made of electricity. That's buck wild. Look at that. That's a pretty cool costume. Even her shoes have little lightning bolts on them. All right. There she is, looking all boss. Yeah. So this is a very entertaining issue. She of course has to run off and have big arguments with Professor X. He remembering back to when he first met her, and she was playing God, as it were. And then he says he could read her mind, and she tells him he should try. And then they give you this amazing spread page where it's like them, Storm and Xavier through history, with a bunch of different fun art styles blending. This is easily the best page that I've seen in a comic this week. Absolutely spectacular. And when he tries to read her mind, she's able to throw him out because of all the training that he's given the X-Men on how to avoid unwanted intrusion into their minds. She's able to cast him out, which is just a cool moment. Just a really cool moment. What is up, Air Spider and family? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope the morning's going well for you guys. So the really cool issue of X-Men Red, and I had to share that spread page because I just thought it was buck wild. What a really cool piece of art. So there you go. Those are the books I read this week. I liked all of my books. The only other thing I bought, and I haven't read it yet, is Jeff Lemire's Sentient, depending on how you pronounce it. Jeff Lemire, science fiction, hardcover, a book that I hear is fantastic. I had to buy it. So at some point I will read it. I hear good things about Sentient. It's on my list, along with, I just started reading Hickman's Black Monday Murders, having to do with the stock market crash and conspiracy theory around the stock market. So I'm reading those indies this weekend. Chet Scotland says, hey, y'all, you just missed an amazing Storm page. I'm going to have to put it on my Instagram now just to make Chet see it. What's going on, Chet? All right, I'm going to try to page Kate here. See if Kate shows up.
I might get a little more to eat, though.
You need more food? What are you going to grab?
I don't know. What should I grab?
I don't know. We could finish the show and then I could go make you something.
What would you make me?
Just barter system. What's up, Chill Manga? He says Storm is the only character with 3 hairstyles at once, and they all work. Chet, it's the new issue of X-Men Red, issue 11. You should check it out. You will like it. You will enjoy it. Yes, I did. Can you fit in here? Climb up and over?
Can Charlie have the middle seat? Okay, never mind.
French toast is good. Another bagel, some peanut butter, a Jameson egg sandwich. You should read it. You should read it. You will love it. So the ladies are all here. Charlie's kind of here. She's kind of there. I can't tilt it more because the window's too bright. Mm-hmm. So you got to lean in. Good morning, Kate.
Morning.
So the team is here. So now it's time. Gore Vidal is here too. We're going to get into some Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So if you don't want to be spoiled, what I'm going to do is put up one of these banners. If you don't want spoilers and you don't want to be ruined, I'll leave this up until we're done. If you've seen it or you don't care to be spoiled, you can certainly hang. And I will take this down when we're done. But you can certainly listen in on our chat regarding the finale of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. You too, chat. Have a great day. Much appreciated, sir. I'll tilt this down a little, get more kids. Less John, more kids. All right. Who wants to kick it off here? All right. I'll kick it off.
Bye, bro. Sorry, trying to get up.
I know. Trying to wake up. I appreciate it. So what I will say is, having only seen it once, the key word that comes to mind for me is it was very worthy of the other two. I felt like it was perfectly in keeping with the other two and tied up that whole group of Guardians and their story. I think it worked really well for me, and I can't decide where it ranks with the other two without having seen it multiple times. I will say it made me like both of the other two more.
Me too.
Like, it made me happy with the choices that they made across all 3 movies because things connected really well. Character story arcs went really beautifully. I even did a short on Groot and the way they use Groot and his language across the 3 movies was really beautiful. Of course, most specifically, I think Rocket is given a really great story arc across all 3 movies and used really well. And I've heard a lot of great discussions around how Gamora's love story with Peter Quill was utilized in such a way as to not be the focus. All of that stuff worked really, really well. There was no Love and Thunder references. None of that. Although I did go back and rewatch the bits from Love and Thunder with them just because I wanted more, man. I want more of those Guardians. Lots of those Guardians is what I want. What's up, Perry? Good morning to Perry. And what is up, Bueller? Good morning to you. I hope things are going well. I've been seeing some great photos of Bueller in the bus traveling around. I think he's in, it's not Colorado. I think it was New Mexico and Colorado. He was working his way up through the Northwest regions, I believe. The only choice was the one made in Infinity War, but I think James Gunn said it was dumb. All right, well, there you go. Reminds me of the Spider-Man pointing meme. All the Guardians movies pointing at each other. Yeah, obviously he had no choice over what they were doing in those movies, but he signed off on it, I guess. I don't know. So I can't decide where it fits, even if it's the worst of the 3 Guardians movies. That still puts it head and shoulders above pretty much everything else. Like, it's really great. And it's going to be, I think, the best Marvel trilogy that they have. I mean, it was Captain America for me for a long time, but I think they stuck the landing here and made arguably the best trilogy that they've got at Marvel. Anybody else?
Do I go first or should I?
All right.
Okay. I think you're right. It made me want to rewatch all the other movies again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the point of it, that makes you want to do it. But I thought that like the characters, the way they were in this one were really cool, and like you said, like their story arcs were really interesting to watch, specifically like Nebula's, because she hated them in the first movie, like hated them, and then the second one she kind of hated them, but then at the end she was like, maybe I don't hate them, and then this one she like loved all of them.
Sure.
In like a passive aggressive
She
way.
had a great story arc too across 3 movies.
And she was just like a really cool character to watch, and specifically in this movie I thought she was like a cool character, and she had good like dynamics and like banter with other characters like Peter. And I thought Rocket's storyline was really sad. Like I would cry over something that happened in his storyline, and then it would cut to something else, and I would like my tears would go away, and then it would cut back, and I was like, oh, here we go again, and it was really roller coaster of a film in like that way.
Yeah, strong emotions, powerful,
heavy.
Powerful emotions. Some sequences very hard to watch, right?
Mm-hmm. And then I thought that the bad guy was cool. What was it, the High Evolutionary?
The High Evolutionary, yeah.
He was really cool. I can't believe we'd never heard of him before. Like, I don't know. I kind of wish there was more with him, but it's okay. He was cool. And I'm glad he's gone, because that was interesting. I was kind of sad that like Peter and Gamora, like watching them was just kind of like, oh, like I know it's not going to happen. So it was just kind of sad. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But I thought it was a good one. I like the second one more though.
You like the second one is your favorite of the 3?
The first one's my favorite.
Oh, so you would go 1, 2, 3 in rankings?
Yeah, but I need to rewatch the first one because I
Sure. Gore says I clicked on it, didn't go. A local detractor who spends too much time online watching angry pop culture war YouTubers dismissed it as a love story, even though he had not watched it. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. I will say one of the things I liked about it is the fact that James Gunn didn't make Peter Quill and Gamora's story the focus of any of the movies. And I saw a commenter make the comment that that was his purpose. Like all the big love story moments between Peter and Gamora, we don't see them on screen. They don't have big romance scenes on. All of their love story happens off screen and we don't see it. We can see that their relationship has changed in between the movies, but we don't see the love story as much. It's been toned down because the focus is the team. The focus is this family that they've made as a group together, right? What's going on, Lady Fantastic? Caroline, I hope you're having a great day. The second one almost made me cry for Yondu. I mean, right? That's powerful stuff. That is powerful stuff. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Mary Poppins, y'all. All right. Charlie, do you want to turn? You guys got to make sure you get extra loud because the microphone's over here.
I don't know. I didn't really like it very much.
Okay.
Like I know it's like a good story, but I just feel like it was like really, really heavy. And like it didn't need to like have that much.
Okay.
Like it could have been dialed down a little bit.
Okay.
It was just really hard for me to watch.
So I know specifically the hard part for you was the Rocket Raccoon backstory stuff, right? Where we got to see some of the animal testing and animal torturing and tragic scenes of Rocket as like when he was little. Is that what you're talking about mostly? Yeah. And that stuff's hard. And I know that the movie has already been given some praise from animal rights activists
for shining light on it.
Yeah, for just commenting on animal testing and company, because there's a lot of companies that do that kind of stuff, not to the degree obviously that the High Evolutionary is doing it. But yeah, that stuff's very hard to watch. Yeah. Lady Fantastic says Charlie didn't like the animal stuff. I can see how that would be bothersome, right? Yeah, that stuff's really hard. Yeah, Charlie keeps it real. Dial down the heavy stuff, right? The animal stuff was heavy? Question mark? I think that's sarcasm. So yeah, and those were very difficult scenes to watch for sure. And there's a bunch of them. It's not like it's like one little bit at the beginning or whatever. They keep going back to it. I think 4 or 5 times through the movie. They go back to those scenes, right? aside from that stuff?
It was a really good movie.
Okay. So it was just those scenes that wasn't the other stuff, any of the
Yeah.
other stuff?
But
Because
I'd
obviously
still
we see
mark it as my
Rocket
least favorite.
get his revenge, right?
Yeah.
He's done running. He gets his gun. He goes and tries to take out the High Evolutionary. We even get to see him when he escapes really lose it and get violent for the first time, right? When Rocket escapes and he makes the High Evolutionary look the way he does, right?
Yeah.
He graphically scars him. Pretty intense.
That was so gross. When they took his mask off at the end, I was like,
yeah, that was graphic. That was
I just thought he
graphic.
looked like the Red Skull.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did have a Red Skull look for sure. Lasso says, did the comics with kids' family have popcorn, sodies, and nachos? Yes to number 1, yes to number 2, no to number 3. We did a ton of popcorn and soda for sure. Root beers.
Some people even stole some popcorn.
I don't know who those people are. I don't know what you're talking about. There were no real raccoons used in this film.
It's just very sad, especially because he was really, really small.
Yeah.
And he kind of looked like
the Jedi Code brings up a really good point. Something that people have talked about a lot was Adam Warlock and the way they use him. And obviously you girls haven't read a ton of Adam Warlock comic books. I know that you might have read the original Infinity Gauntlet storyline where he's in that a ton. What did you think? Bless you. Kate, you just put food in your mouth. I'll go first. No, I shouldn't go first. I went first last time. Charlie, what were your thoughts on the Adam Warlock character that we got in the movie?
He just seemed really stupid.
I mean, he is kind of a dullard.
They said, because you took him out too early, he wasn't fully finished, so he's still like a child.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like I feel like he was in the end of the second movie. They really showed him as the new villain, and then in the third movie, he did nothing. He literally never did anything that actually really hurt our characters,
right?
That I can really think of,
right?
You'll see him come and attempt to attack them, and it's he either does absolutely nothing or he ends up helping them somehow.
Well, he obviously is the one that causes the whole story to happen, right? Because he wounds Rocket,
but he doesn't do anything else.
And then the rest of the movie is trying to save Rocket from that injury.
Yeah,
right.
I just feel like they kind of really made it look really cool at the end of the second. This guy's gonna bring in he's gonna really give them a challenge, and he was barely in the movie, and all he did was hurt Rocket and then just kind of spectate the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. What about you, Caters?
I thought he was really weak. His power. I know he's not fully matured, so I'm not gonna fully blame it. But in the comics, he's pretty much invincible, right?
Yeah, he's
really powerful.
He's pretty powerful. He fights Thanos hand to hand.
And Nebula knocked him out with I don't even know some machine. I feel like he just wasn't as powerful as he should have been. And again, he was taken out of the thing early, so it's not he had the full chance to get all his powers. But I don't know. I think it would have been cooler to have him be more powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
This is definitely not the Adam Warlock that is popular or known in the comics, right? This is definitely a toned down, childlike iteration.
But I liked his actor though.
We also
Will Poulter.
They didn't Oh, I can say spoilers because it's supposed to be spoilers.
Yeah,
but
it says it right
they
there.
didn't kill him off, so he's still alive, which means he's still gonna be important.
So they can build up to the version that people really love.
Yeah, so maybe there's gonna be a later movie where it's oh, his powers are so weak, and then all of a sudden, boom, giant powers.
Maybe
we're safe.
That could be. What is up, Burke? Congrats on all the milestones you've been hitting. I totally understand if you haven't seen Guardians and you can't stay, brother. I totally understand. I appreciate you coming by, though, man. Well, there were some comments up here that I didn't want to miss. Lady Fantastic talks. She works in science, and she says she has labs with animals and that they work to be very humane and take good care of them. But she's doing it for the benefit of humans, for medications for humans and things like that. Because you have to test medications on something to see if they work or if there's any problems, right? Chillmonger wants High Evolutionary to return. Air Spider wants nachos.
They could.
I have two things to say.
Hold on. Bueller wants us not to be harming computer-generated animals anymore. It needs to stop. And we will get to Cosmo and some of that stuff in a little bit here. But Air Spider says no animals were hurt in Grand Theft Auto. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? What's going on here? I was worried about the casting. And Gunn leaned into the goofy instead of being true to the character. Sure. There you go. Let's see. Nebula. Talk about a character they really took from a background third tier to such a great, interesting character. And that's definitely what Charlie was talking about a little bit earlier, and Kate too.
She's always been kind of like one of my favorite characters. Because she's just like really cool. And like because like she's come from a very bad background. She's like barely even human anymore.
Right.
And I feel like throughout the movies, they made her feel more human. Because she's always seemed like she felt like she was just a machine to everyone.
Sure.
And I feel like the Guardians of the Galaxy really showed her like, no, like you're not just a machine. I like that one scene where like Quill is like talking about how he what he loved about old Gamora, and then Gamora's like, sounds like Nebula, and then he just like looks at Nebula with like those eyes, and I'm like, Peter.
Yeah.
I've
But I
never
think
seen how black your eyes were or something.
It perfectly undercuts the fact that this is not a love story between Quill and Gamora, right? That Peter is clearly carrying a ton of baggage, and as much as he cared about Gamora, he's got feelings for all of them. And the real story is Peter going from, at the first movie, someone who runs away from home to returning.
Yeah,
that's really the journey of Peter Quill. Is not a love story. It's a return to his grandfather at the end. You know,
that was really sweet.
That was really beautiful. There's a lot of character arcs that, if you look really closely, from movie 1 to movie 3, you can see where the character journeyed. Drax going from destroyer to dad.
Yeah,
right. That journey is really beautifully done. I think that was really handled well.
And like when they showed the Mantis's story character, when they had that one scene with Mantis, Nebula, and Drax like, you think I'm dumb? And she makes him forget.
Yeah.
And you can see how much it affects Nebula.
Yeah.
She knows like Mantis is right. And I also like that no one makes it seem like it's going to be a love story between like Mantis and Drax. It's just kind of like they're really good friends.
No,
and Drax
yeah, they get along really
her.
well, for sure.
Can I say the two things I wanted to say?
Okay, sure.
I thought the end was kind of sad, like in the like when they say that like the blank will return.
Yeah, legendary Star-Lord.
That's all it said. It didn't say Guardians. It was just kind of sad, but
I'm sure we'll get a new. I mean, in the comics, they've had several different teams of Guardians over there. In fact, Kitty Pryde, one of my favorite X-Men characters, was a leader of one of the Guardians of the Galaxy teams and had a love story with Peter Quill at one point. So they've had a ton of teams, and clearly they're setting up a new team. But what will they call those movies? Who knows, right? Yeah. What is up, Bigby McFly? I mentioned him at the top of the show, and his link to his channel is down below. And he's really pushing for this great way of like celebrating community channels and shows and things that we really love that we're finding in the community. So if you haven't subscribed to Bigby McFly, you might want to check out what he's doing and participate if you can.
Could I say
Sorry, yeah. What was the other thing?
I thought that the High Evolutionary was defeated too easily. Like he was whooping everybody's butts. Like he was throwing them with the gravity stuff or whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
And then Rocket just turned a button off his gravity boots or something and then fell and killed him. Like I feel like it was too easy almost.
Here's what I say to that. Firstly, it's a common Marvel problem that the villain gets defeated real easily at the end and then they move on. And they call it a third act problem. For me, here's why this one worked. The whole movie, what we see is this team trying to fight the High Evolutionary, not understanding him, not understanding his powers, not understanding what he can do. And he basically wipes them out. He's good. The reason that they lose every time is because they don't have Rocket. Rocket, who knows all of his technology, all of his systems, all the things that he's got. So Rocket is like, no, I can take this guy out in one swift move. Yeah. So the second Rocket shows up, he's the deal maker, right? He shows up and he's like, your gravity thing? I've been building these boots for years, dude. You even see him use them at the beginning. He's been working on those boots for a long time for one specific purpose.
I didn't realize what those were until
it totally
saw
worked
like
for me.
Behind the
and
scenes
he even said
thing.
he was practicing working it on a ledge. And if you look on that ship, the ceiling has like a ton of like ups and downs.
Yeah. for me, it just worked because it was Rocket has been building towards this for 3 movies. All the tech he's been building, all the things when things get really insane, right? This is for when things get really crazy. And I think he was ready. He was just ready. And so for that, for Rocket, it was easy, but for everybody else, it was really hard. And that's why I liked it. But again, I totally get what you're saying. It makes total sense.
I was kind of confused when.
Can we get to Cosmo real quick though first?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in the chat are mentioning Cosmo, and yeah, Lockjaw is a character from the Inhumans, the big dog that teleports people. Cosmo, I didn't know if he was an Inhuman. I just thought he had special powers because of his, the cosmic rays or whatever that he got exposed to in space. I loved Cosmo in this.
He was cool.
Charlie
he didn't get very much, but he was cool.
I know he wasn't in it a ton. Charlie could use more good dog. What did you think of Cosmo?
I mean, he was cool. I just feel like I didn't really like the voice of her. I felt like it just.
I think, right? It's a guy.
Oh, well, in the movie they kept saying she.
Like, yeah.
But I just feel like, I don't know, the voice just seemed really bad. It didn't seem like it fit the dog at all. I felt like, first of all, I didn't know it was Russian. I didn't know it had powers. I didn't know anything about Cosmo.
Yeah, because he was a real dog that Russia sent into space that died from the trip. But in Marvel Comics, he survived and became like a superhero, a dog out in outer space.
But like, I don't know. I just felt like they could have done a better voice because I know apparently it's a boy. It sounded very female.
I thought it was.
So I thought it was
like,
a girl's whole movie. I just felt like the accent sounded super fake. Like, you know how like when someone speaks like in a Russian accent, like normally it sounds very like authentic. It just sounded like it was like someone, I don't know, it just sounded really bad to me. It didn't sound like the way I would have imagined.
And I can't, and maybe someone knows in the chat, I understood it as like a computerized collar that was kind of speaking for him, but maybe it's actually him speaking. If somebody understands how he speaks, because I took it as like a computerized voice, which meant like
an AI
it should be kind of fake, like
yeah,
Alexa sounding,
because it's reading his thoughts.
But like I do like Cosmo. I think he's a great character.
I just felt like
the voice acting was just kind of ruined it for me.
Sure, but I loved his bits. Being a good dog. That was all very funny. That definitely made me laugh.
And he saved everybody.
So he's not an Inhuman, but he was on the Inhumans team. It sounds like people are saying. Okay. And JP thinks it's the collar too. Okay. Which is funny. Like does it have to have an accent if it's a collar? But what are you gonna
do?
Fair. What was the other thing you were gonna say, Charlie, before I interrupted you to talk about Cosmo?
You know how like Rocket keeps collecting little things and turns it into a key card to escape?
Right.
How did he know to make a key card? Because he thought they were going to go to the real world the whole time, so he wouldn't have been able to prepare the key card.
I think he was just making it off of stuff on the ground in that moment. I don't think he was saving it. Or maybe he was prepared. I don't know.
There's 2 ways to look at it. One, that he's just like that kind of character who just collects stuff and builds to keep his mind active. Or in his heart of hearts, he knew not to trust the High Evolutionary, and that he had seen enough to know not to trust him, and couldn't give himself to believe what the High Evolutionary was promising.
Yeah.
First appearance of Cosmo was in Nova number 8. It's a 50-cent book. You found it in the 50-cent bin. His psychic thoughts project through an electronic collar. There you go. There you go. A Soviet space dog. Any other last thoughts? Anything that we didn't talk about that you feel like you want to speak about?
I thought Gamora was really boring in this movie. She got little to no actual things to do besides save Rocket like that one time. And she didn't really contribute that much to the story, which is why I was surprised that they brought her back in Endgame. Because I was like, I feel like she didn't really make an impact in this movie that much. I mean, obviously she helped Peter get over his grief a little, but like, I don't know. I feel like he would have gotten over it on his own, I think. So I don't know. I didn't really enjoy her character in this. She just seemed kind of out of it.
She just kind of felt like there wasn't any like I don't know. I feel like her whole character was just. I can see I felt like her whole character was just I'm a super angry girl who was here before, and now I'm just always angry, and I work with the Ravagers. I hate Peter. I just feel like that's not like a character. It's just an emotion.
Yeah, I think that was probably my least favorite part overall. It was like I think they struggled to balance her character's journey a little bit. So I get that for sure. JP says, I think he was grabbing tech because that is what he does. He just tinkers with stuff. But also, the back of his mind, he was preparing as well. I think it's probably maybe a little bit of both. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, I really want to see it again. That's top straight up. Like, I legitimately want to see it again soon. I think it'll help me solidify kind of how it fits in with the trilogy. However, going back and rewatching 1 and 2, I love them even more. Like every time I've rewatched Guardians 1 and 2, I like them more. So it's this is a high trilogy of quality. Like it's really good stuff across all 3 movies. So, and you could throw in, and you should throw in if you haven't seen them yet, the Christmas special, which I thought was great, and all the little Baby Groot shorts. The animated shorts they made for Baby Groot are all fantastic. And, of course, their moments in Infinity War, Endgame, even in Love and Thunder, I think all the Guardians moments, if you could string them all together, that would be a spectacular viewing enjoyment for me. I would enjoy all of it. I was very much surprised by this too, Jedi Code. I was very surprised they didn't kill anybody off.
I thought for sure Rocket was going to die at some point.
But I was not. It did not break my heart. It did not ruin it for me. I still was very, very good with it. Yeah. Charlie and Kate got some great critiques. I totally agree. They're growing. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, Nebula in the Christmas special. I think there were so many great moments in that Christmas special that if you've missed it, I highly recommend it. I think it was massively entertaining. Of course,
I don't
I want to
remember
rewatch
Nebula
the first
even
one.
being in that one.
They're all in it except Gamora.
Because obviously, yeah.
But yeah, really, really good.
With Kevin Bacon.
But it mainly focuses obviously on Drax and Mantis.
Oh yeah. Also, wasn't it like they went to Earth and like the grandpa was like reading the newspaper of Kevin Bacon abducted by aliens
at the very end of the 3rd movie?
Oh yeah.
And I noticed on rewatching Volume 2, I don't know how, I must have known it, but I forgot it, that Grandpa is in Guardians Volume 2. When the giant blob on Earth destroys the Dairy Queen and starts rampaging through the village, Grandpa's driving the car to get away from it. So he almost gets crushed by the car. But that's Peter Quill's grandfather in that scene.
What?
Yeah, so he's in all 3 movies too. Let's see. I am not. It's comic books. They aren't going to cast aside any of the characters if they can avoid it. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah, that's fair. I've seen the first film, didn't find it interesting. No plans to see the others until they're all free somewhere, but I enjoy discussions about them. Well, there you go, Gore.
Can we rewatch the first one?
It always gets back to Kevin Bacon, the origin of all human behavior. That's fairly said. But that's it. That wraps it up for us, I think, right? All good, ladies. I'll take down our little spoiler banner. So we're free and clear for people now. Although I can't control the chat, you never know what they're gonna say. But yeah, really, really good movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again. And that's pretty much it. And we've got sports day today. We've got a volleyball tournament. We've got a soccer game. So should be a fun sports field day with a sad face from Charlie. Looking forward to seeing Oppenheimer. Yeah, Christopher Nolan's new movie for sure. Thanks everybody for coming by, and thank you for the unboxing material here. The great comics I got from my man Ken Pratt. He sent me some fun Stan Lee covers. I've covered Stan's face there in the Iron Man suit, and including a Guardians of the Galaxy Stan Lee cover. So huge thank you to Ken for these great covers. There's some links in the description down below you guys can check out if you want to see it and enjoy it. Yeah, we need some Spider-Man next because Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 is coming out soon here. That's next on the list for sure.
We have to watch that one again because that music is gold.
It is
Oh
gold.
my god, yeah.
It is absolutely
amazing.
great.
Animation is really cool too.
Totally agree.
Yes. Bright
Definitely see that
colors.
if you haven't seen it.
Yes, highly recommend it. Right. But we're going to leave. We're going to go have second breakfast like a good hobbit and then go to our sporting events. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll see you guys again soon. Bye.